Welcome back to Simple Builds. Let's talk about salvage title cars. So let's break down a few things just to get oriented with salvage titles. As car guys, we all have our attainable dream cars, our unattainable dream cars, and we want to figure out, is there a way that I could possibly ever afford that car? Well, yes, there might be a workaround with a salvage title vehicle. Now I know what you're thinking. Your uncle, your grandfather, your dad, your buddy swears against salvage title vehicles. Do not do it. It's going to be a nightmare, a financial mistake, a problematic headache, and they might be telling you the truth. But there may also be a silver lining that could help you afford that car that you otherwise might not be able to get into. So in today's video, we're going to be breaking down what is a salvage title, rebuilt titles versus salvage titles, my own personal experience in buying, building, driving, and even selling salvage title vehicles. If you do decide to buy a salvage title vehicle, what to look for, and then my overall thoughts, and you can decide whether you think it's right for you or not by the end of this video. So let's go ahead and break down what is a salvage title. First, we're gonna start by using the help of our friends over at Donut Media. They made a video on this previously, and I have my 2 cents to pitch in. So let's jump in and let them explain it. They're gonna do it better than I can, and then after, I'll show you my thoughts.
First, what even is a salvage title? Well, when a car is involved in an accident, the insurance provider decides whether or not it's worth it to repair the car. If the repairs quoted cost more than the car is worth, the car is totaled. The insurer will pay off the owner and take possession of the car's title. The insurance company now has a junk car in their hands and needs to make some money back. So they sell the car to a shop or individual who intends to get the car driving again. The shop repairs the car and lists it for sale. But to protect buyers from unknowingly buying a car that was totaled at some point, the car's clean title is stripped, and in its place, it's given a salvage title brand.
So now that you have a good explanation on what a salvage title vehicle is, we can go ahead and start doing research and have an educated idea on what it means to actually have a salvage title vehicle. Now, of course, there's many different aspects that can go into it, whether or not this purchase would be right for you or not. In my own experience, I've used different auction sites like Copart to be able to purchase a rebuilt title vehicle. Our first Copart purchase. Buy now. Here we go. Confirm. That's it. And it was along the same lines of an insurance payout. So the vehicle hit a deer, it was crashed, and it was totaled out to an insurance company, which then fixed it up as much as they could with pretty hodgepodge repairs. Thankfully, there was no structural or frame damage. So I saw the car come up on Copart, which we'll get into further, but that leads us to the rebuilt title because the Fiesta ST that I bought was a rebuilt title at the time of purchase. So now let's go ahead and dig into a little bit more of a comparison on salvage title versus rebuilt title.
Some state DMVs will inspect salvage cars and deem them roadworthy with a rebuilt title. But that still means the car was a salvage at some point.
So like I said, the vehicle that I bought from Copart was damaged, it was hit by a deer, and that is why my vehicle became a salvage title in the first place. But it doesn't just have to be damaged on that aspect. The car could be salvaged out for many different reasons.
Fire damage, flood damage, stolen and recovered cars can be salvage titles.
So now that we know what could create a salvage title, when does that process start from turning that salvage title car into a rebuilt title car? So like mentioned, the rebuilt title is branded only after the vehicle comes from a salvage title. So the salvage title would have to go to a reputable repair shop and they would have to have documentation and receipts. Then that vehicle would get inspected depending on the state's regulations, and it would then be issued a rebuilt title after going through the paperwork. When buying a vehicle, the salvage title before it's rebuilt would not be able to be registered or insured on the road. You can tell this by looking at the title, and it would have a big dash across the title, and it'll say something along the lines of salvage, or it'll have a red dash across it. So it's very noticeable if a vehicle had gone through the process to be a rebuilt title or not. Once that vehicle is rebuilt title branded, then it is able to be registered and put back on the road to be insured and ready for someone to drive. I've been looking for a good dash cam for a long time now, and today's video sponsor is coming in clutch because they sent me out the Wolfbox G900 Tri-Pro. So we're gonna install it, put it to the test, and tell you guys a little bit more about it. We have everything installed. It's a 3-channel dash cam, as you can see. Obviously, you can see some cords. When it's all installed, we can route those through the car to hide them. It is fully touchscreen, so you can swipe over between all of the different cameras that you have here. It is 4K up front, 2.5K in the rear, and it shoots 1080p for the cabin cam. So no matter what's going on around your car, you are covered at all times. And the night vision, insane. You got Sony Starvis 2 sensor in the front and OmniVision tech in the back. It pulls all the details, even in total darkness. Plus the cabin cam's got infrared lights to capture everything on the inside as well. You can see here, you can clearly zoom in and get license plates if needed, even at night. As you can see, the G900 Tri-Pro has insane quality. Like I mentioned, it is a 3-channel dash cam, so we have all these different angles that we can capture. By having this in your car, you're making sure that not only you're protecting yourself, but you can also film some pretty cool content to post on social media. Transferring files is also faster than it's ever been. They have a new 5.8 gigahertz Wi-Fi. It is 4 times faster than their old 2.4. You can automatically sync the clips from your dash cam directly to your phone, and they're all right here, ready to be downloaded. So no more swapping SD cards in and out. Everything is done right through the app. I am really impressed with the quality and ease of install with the Wolfbox Dash Cam. So if you guys want to go ahead and grab yours, click the link down below. It also gives me a kickback, so you're supporting a brand that supports me. Thanks again to Wolfbox for sponsoring today's video. So now, all this being said, how do you know what to look for when you are on your search to find that vehicle bargain, whether that's just searching for a car on a budget or, like I mentioned, a car that you've been wanting to attain but might be a little bit out of your reach right now? Let's take a look at what to look for when looking for a vehicle of this caliber.
All right, if you want to buy a salvage title car, here's what you do. Ask the seller to provide repair records so you have the full picture of the car's history. Use a car history service as well, like Carfax. Have the car inspected by a trusted mechanic, like you would any other used car. They can do a full inspection and point out any major flaws. Finally, find out how long it's been since the salvage title was issued, and if the car has been driven since then.
So there are many different steps to go through to protect yourself when looking for a salvage title vehicle or a rebuilt title branded vehicle. And as long as you make sure you do that due diligence and research, you might have a good deal on your hands. Let me jump into more about my experience with my Fiesta ST first, and then I'll talk about the 335 that I recently bought for a really good deal. So many of you might remember my Fiesta ST. I used to have the front grille actually have it hanging right here behind me before we replaced it with this nice LED simple build sign. I bought that car from auction and I documented the entire process here on this channel. You can find all of those videos and I will link the playlist down below. I picked up that car for $6,000. At the time, examples like that with around 100,000 miles were going for closer to around $10,000. So I was able to save about $4 grand just by buying that vehicle from an auction site that had a rebuilt branded title. Like I mentioned, that car had already gone through the whole process of the repairs and inspections to be able to get that rebuilt branded title. So I could go ahead right away, skip that process of getting that paperwork and get the car right on the road. Now that car I knew was gonna stick around on the channel with me for a long time. So that is another factor that goes into it. Selling these rebuilt title and salvage title vehicles are almost impossible. People do not want to pay anywhere close to top dollar and they are terrified about the previous history of the vehicle. Myself, running an automotive YouTube channel, I took the risk. I knew it would be an investment and of course it paid off. It helped grow many skills that I have building this YouTube channel and also brought in a lot of you guys to the channel. We then went ahead and it went crazy on that car. We did a full bolt-ons, we did a wide body kit, we upgraded the turbo and drove the wheels off of that vehicle. When I first checked out the car from Copart, I gave it a good quick inspection, probably should have done a little bit more research. The only real damage that it had was a front cracked bumper, a dented crash bar, a broken headlight, and a few other miscellaneous items that needed to be repaired. But I jumped right into that car and it was ready to be driven from day one. Here's a little hack for you guys to diagnose and see if the car was ever on auction up before with the previous damage. Plug in the VIN into Google, click search, go to images, and you may find the photo of the vehicle that you're looking for. I took the VIN from my Fiesta ST, plugged it into the Google search bar, click search, scroll down, and what do you know, there was a Fiesta ST that I was buying from auction, and I was able to see the previous damage on there. This may or may not work for you. Like was mentioned earlier, you can check the Carfax reports and whatnot, but of course they made some hodgepodge repairs on the front bumper. They super glued a couple tabs back on the headlights, but it was all things that were repairable. I went ahead, spent about 15 grand on that car in total. It made me a good investment back on the channel, but I was able to put it up on a car auction site. Once again, I believe it was Cars and Bids, and I sold that car for $9,000 2 years later. Was it worth it? For me, absolutely. For you guys, it might be as well. I drove the wheels off that car, had so much fun with it, had very minimal problems besides regular maintenance, and for me, that car was a successful purchase. Now let's talk about the second rebuilt title vehicle that I had bought personally. And that is, like you might have seen already on the channel, our 2008 BMW 335xi. I will link that playlist down below as well, and you can see the process of buying that car and some of the modifications that we did to it so far. Now, a BMW of this caliber with 175,000 miles, it is higher miles, but it did have full bolt-ons, pretty much zero oil leaks, a mint interior, and some lights on the dash. That being said, a car of that caliber would still go on Facebook for around $5,000 to $6,000 in that condition. We hit up the Facebook seller. I forget how much he had it up for originally, but we were able to buy that car for $1,500. So because that car did have a rebuilt title, I was able to purchase it for a really good deal. The previous owner had thrown thousands of dollars of modifications into it, like you may have seen, full bolt-ons, regular maintenance, and the car was fast and ready to go. Had a nice tune on it, a straight piped exhaust. Overall, immediately was super satisfied with that purchase. Not to mention the exterior of the car was in excellent condition. So another car that I was able to get into for super cheap, and right off the bat, inspected everything. The car looked super clean, no frame damage, no electrical issues. I didn't even actually research the previous damage because of how cheap the car was. I didn't care, and it was good content for the channel. If you don't have a YouTube channel, don't be afraid to jump into one of these. Just gotta make sure the budget makes sense for what your wallet is currently telling you. We went ahead and got a sponsor for the build. ECS Tuning came in clutch and sent us out a bunch of parts. We installed some aftermarket coilovers, some new wheels and tires, brand new headlights, and possibly a few more modifications to go on as well. So here's how the car currently sits. And I think it turned out really good. All in all, if they weren't sponsoring the vehicle, we'd probably be in close to that car for total about $3,000 to $4,000. So a full bolt-on, very good looking car that rips. It's 4 doors, clean interior, all for under $5,000. For me personally, that is another win. Now, selling the BMW on this case, a little bit of a different story. The car would only sell for about $4,000 to $5,000. I also forgot to mention that the car most likely does need new twin turbos because they are leaking a ton of smoke, but it doesn't affect the drivability of the vehicle. Although sometimes I do feel like I'm inhaling an unhealthy amount of oil and smoke through the cabin when I hit the gas. But that's besides the point. The car is super fun, super fast, so it might be the lack of brain cells that I've had over the last couple months of driving that car on and off that tells me that that still was a good purchase. So that is my personal experience and my thoughts on buying a salvage / rebuilt title vehicle. Make sure you do your research, and if it does make sense for you, you're willing to take a little bit of a gamble, which it is always sort of that gamble, it could turn out to be a very successful purchase. You could have a super fun car at a really great price. You also could, however, take that gamble and find a vehicle that gives you tons of headaches. So make sure you do your research, call your insurance company, see if that's something they allow, and let me know down in the comments. Have you bought one before? Are you planning to buy one? Drop it down below. Let's talk about it. Thank you guys for tuning into this one. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. If you did, drop a like. Like I said, leave a comment, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next one.